Welcome to 82 Rugby Chat. I think I picked the Highlands to win last week. That was an absolute disaster. I think I picked Dunedin to lose and I picked Taieri to win. That all happened. But boys, I've got super coach from Southern and Tim Belcher, and I've got John Freeland from Taieri. That's the big game this week. But lads, let's just quickly talk about the Highlanders. Mate, tell me what happened last Friday night.
I think we just got a bit of a shell shock. The Reds come out firing and we were down by too many points.
Mate, we didn't want a scrum or a line-out.
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of the game itself, but I think we did pretty well to come back. But when you're 31 all, you want to close that down. And I think maybe they were trying to chase the game.
Well, I suppose they were. I mean, at the end of the day, they would have got 3 points with the draw. They got 2 points anyway. I can sort of see what he was trying to do with that kick. He was obviously trying to kick it a lot deeper than that and then chase it through, but it just all a bit of a mess, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I tell you, when I was in Queenstown, we had a big night and got to half time and I said sayonara to it all.
Went to bed?
Yes, very much. I think I'd been at Rata or somewhere and had several Fantas, so it was going well.
Yeah, no, it was tough ass. Okay, let's get on to it. This big game this weekend, the Roy Neiper, you boys are telling me. So let's talk about Southern for a start, Tim. Reggie, why does everybody blame Reggie for everything that goes wrong in every rugby club? It's always Reggie's fault. He was supposed to be here tonight, by the way, and you've had to step in for him. I was going to ask him that question.
No, Reggie was away today with the Kings first 15. They were in Christchurch, the Shirley Boys into school, which we won, which was good. I think that's a little bit harsh to probably blame Reggie for.
Well, he does get blamed, though, doesn't he?
I think a lot of people give him a lot of stick, but the amount of work that goes into those draws is pretty unbelievable.
So can you say, with the hand on heart, that Reggie does not skewer the draw to help Southern?
To help Southern?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he helped Southern.
John, do you agree with that?
I don't think we have an issue with the draw as such.
Okay, right.
No. Reggie will send us anywhere. I think we've been to Port Chalmers.
Right.
We've had to go out everywhere. So.
Okay, let's talk about Taieri. So, John, you actually do something at Taieri because Mike Casey's told me that he does everything at Taieri.
Well, Mike's an integral part of the club, even by his own determination.
Right.
Yeah. No, Mike's an important member, but we got a very good committee out there and good framework of people on the background as most clubs have, and they're all doing the work.
But you guys are going really, really well. Let's be honest. I mean, your bar takings, apart from when you shut down for an hour during your speeches, I can't believe you shut your bar when your speeches are wrong because your speeches take so long.
Yeah, it's all about the speeches, really.
Right. It's all about speeches.
It's about attention span.
Right.
Yeah.
And you guys, when I have 4 or 5 minutes out there, and the bar must be shut for hours at a time.
Yeah, we still show a profit though. It's the main thing.
Okay, look, Supercoach, we'll come back to you. Look, you do all the recruiting for Southern. You're undefeated, I understand, as the Prem Colts coach. Is that right? Magpies unbeaten at this stage.
Yep.
You do the speeches now as well.
I was only doing the speeches because Gareth Woodhouse was away.
Right. So you're doing the speeches as well. So why haven't you got the Prem? Why aren't you coaching the Prems again? I mean, you do everything else at the club.
No, I had 3 years at the Prems and
then got dumped.
And really
unceremoniously dumped.
Oh no, I think at the time it was probably the right decision by the committee. Just I was still a young man and was finding my way in coaching, and to make 2 semi-finals was pretty good. But Southern, we're pretty ruthless with our coaches. If you look back through the years, even when we won championships in the 80s, they sacked the Prem coach. So, I still have.
They wouldn't have sacked Loza when he was the coach.
No, they didn't sack Loza.
Too scared.
But no, I'm sure I'll get another opportunity in the foreseeable future.
Okay, let's talk about Taieri then. Look, because we'll talk about injuries now because there's a lot of injuries around town. I know that Alhambra Union went through it big time. Kaikoura have gone through it big time. Dunedin are going through it. They're having a hell of a run right now as well. But you guys at Taieri, you're just having one of those years where you're not getting many injuries?
Well, I think we had a pretty effective pre-season. And
is that what you're putting it down to?
Let's give Blocker and Tom Davey and Rach Bell and Pat, our physio, their credit. I mean, the boys worked really hard pre-season.
Yep.
And I think we're starting to see the benefit of it now.
Right.
Plus, you've got to be mindful of the size of the squad that these teams are running too, and being pretty careful about player management too.
Yep.
So I put it down to pre-season personally. Yep.
So you want because from what I've seen, you haven't got I think Dunedin have got 30 odd players out at the moment. I think the Kaikoura boys had 15 or 20. They played 9 Colts in their Prem side one day.
Yep.
So any injury concerns? What's happened with the young Casey, for example? Because he's had a couple of head knocks. Is he playing?
He had 2 head knocks within a reasonable period of time. One was probably more a whiplash, I think, but he's just been prudent about his recovery and coming back into it. I've seen the team name for Saturday. You would have seen that come through today for the 82.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's a man there at 10 that you're probably not going to hit him off most days of the week if you're picking most of a 10 round Otago. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, I've got one at Dunedin, that's another story.
Yeah. But yeah, Josh will come back into it. He's got a stand down period, and
That's what he's done.
He's playing good footy.
But apart from Josh, no real injury concerns at all.
well, not that I'm aware of. As I say, it comes.
So that's
down,
right through your teams?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we've had one guy in our senior team blow his knee out. There's been a couple of other guys with minor niggles, but you know, nothing really major. But yeah, when you look at the side of our Prem squad and you go back over the last couple of 3 years, we've run sort of on average 40 to 45 players in that Prem squad.
Right.
And I mean, you know, most of the other teams I guess are the same, but you know, when you're running those sorts of numbers and you're being wise about your player management,
It's going all right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Southern, because you guys were trucking along pretty well, but are you starting to crank? You're talking Colts Rugby, got a few injuries now. How are they going, and how's Prems? How your Prems look?
Yeah, the Prems have obviously suffered a lot of key injuries. Simon Knight's out for the season.
So talk to me about Simon, because that's the second serious injury he's had. He did his cheekbone a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
so what's happening? Has he done his ACL?
He's done his ACL.
So he's gone for the year?
He's gone for the year.
Right, that's a big loss.
Yeah, it is huge loss. And Ronnie Satutu's gone for the year.
He's the wee winger.
Yep. So he was in the New Zealand 20s trial, but couldn't trial because of an issue with his groin. Jackson Hemipo.
See, how bad is he? Because that's a big worry for Otago as well.
Yeah, I think they're just managing him well. You know that he's still got some scans to go through, and
so he won't play again this season for you guys.
I wouldn't think so.
Right. And you had a couple of injuries on Saturday. You lost TJ.
Yeah, lost TJ.
And you lost the Green Island boy.
Yeah. So
Mick Murphy.
Yeah, there's.
What is he going back to Green Island? Or
No. He's got picked up a bit of a niggle. So yeah, we just seem to be getting hit at the moment. On Saturday we had 20 Colts out between the two sides. 20 between the two sides. Right. So we were pretty much struggling, and they're just little niggles or freak accidents, like guys doing collarbones and things like that. And as John was saying before, I thought we had a pretty good pre-season.
Yep.
But I think we just seem to be getting hit. But we've got a lot of depth. Not a lot of clubs would have been able to have 20 Colts out on Saturday and field two sides. So
well, you got beaten by 98-0, but one of them.
I think there's some discrepancies in the score, but
what team was that against?
Was that against Taieri?
Just putting that out.
Unbelievably, Taieri. Let's come back to Taieri. So look, how many banners are you going to win this year? So you're going to win the Prem banner in a canter. We all agree on that. Do you agree on that? We just win that Prem banner at Taieri this year.
We'll be in the hunt.
You'll be in the hunt.
Yep.
So where are you in Prem 2s?
Prem 2s are doing what they did last year. They're coming away now, and they've got a good squad, and they're starting to put some results on the board.
So where do Taieri Colts sit in the pecking order?
Prem Colts are sitting about third or fourth, I think, just now.
Right,
Good bunch of boys, and as I say, a lot of those guys are going to get the opportunity to play Prem rugby and already have this season.
Yeah, because I watched that game. It would have been 3 or 4 weeks ago. You played Dunedin, and you had 4 or 5 of your Prem boys playing. Yep. Our guys were moaning about that. So what are you moaning about? That they're Colts age, they can play.
Colts, yeah, they're still Colts. Yeah.
So they're not a bad. When those guys play, like when Miller and Casey and those kids were playing, and the wee halfback, who's I think is a pretty good player.
Will Cosgrove is.
Will Cosgrove, good player,
very good footballer.
And they look sharp.
Yep.
You go close in Prem Colts?
Once again, if we're in the hunt, we're in the hunt. I think if the teams play good footy, they're going to be there or thereabouts.
Okay, so what about you guys? So look, how are you guys tracking? You've got your Prem Colts are unbeaten, and they've won it the last 2 years.
2 years in a row.
But you weren't coaching last year. You're coaching this year, and they still went under your tutelage.
Well, yeah, we're going okay. We're very young. We lost a lot of guys from the championship side last year. They're all in the Prems, a lot of them.
Yep.
So our Prems are very young. But we've got a good system, and I've got a couple of good guys helping with Brent Marshall and an old boy of the club, and Luke Hurden, doing some coaching.
He's an old boy.
And so we'll be there or thereabouts.
It's the only guy in town that can still smoke a really long Cuban cigar in the shower. Let's be honest. So let's talk about Southern and what Southern do to referees. Let's talk about Saturday's game. Dunedin are playing Southern. Southern have the wind and the sun for the first half. Dunedin turn and get the wind and the sun for the second half. Then we have that injury concern.
Yep.
One of those young Dunedin boys who's okay.
Yep.
So we had to change grounds. We changed to the boggiest ground in town. Southern were already starting to slow down at that stage, and somehow you get the wind and the sun again. How does that work? Is that match fixing?
No, I think, from what I heard after the game when I spoke to Josh and Will Henry, I think the referee decided to have a toss.
Now, his exact words I hear were, look, it's Southern's ground, so we have to retoss.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. I'm sure Will Henry would have been a great advocate for Dunedin and would have spoke up if that was the case. But
unbelievable.
Apparently Josh Warden won the toss and decided to go towards the most grass rather than the bog.
I'm pretty sure it was the win. Anyway, so it's pretty hard for other teams to win. So look, can either of you guys not see these two teams play in the final right now? Let's be honest. They must play in the final, these two teams. Southern and Taieri.
I think Taieri are the benchmark. They've been the benchmark for the last 3 or 4 seasons. They're a good side. They've got good players, Charlie, Kieran Moffat, Michael Collins. They'll be pretty hard to beat. Our guys, injuries is our worry. Yep. I wouldn't write off Harbour. I remember a Harbour side 3 years ago, Paul, that got 4th and tipped over Southern.
Yep. So, well, lads, I've done some work on this, just to give you... I'm going to write about this on Friday.
Yeah, but the key player from that game's playing for Pirates now. Yeah. Be fair.
Yeah, but I've done some serious work on this, on where these teams sit. You've got Varsity on 39, you've got Dunedin on 37, you've got Alhambra Union on 36, you've got Kaikoura on 32, and you've got Harbour on 32. When you break all this down, I just don't see how Harbour can win. They've got to play the top 4 sides.
Yeah, they've got a hard run.
They've got to play the top 4 sides. Kaikoura have got to play the top 4 sides. Alhambra Union have got to play the top 4 sides. Dunedin have probably got the easiest draw because they've played everybody else. And Varsity have got the second easiest draw. So I just don't see how any of those 3 sides can make the Harbour's have got to beat. They've got to beat Taieri, Dunedin, Varsity to make the 4.
How many games those are at Port?
There might be a few. I haven't checked that, but there's a few.
Harbour beat Varsity in the first round. They pushed Dunedin close. They're a dangerous side, and they're big. I watched them at Bathgate Park, and they had Southern all sorts of trouble.
Right.
So they're a good side.
So you're picking them as the bolter.
I'm picking them as the bolter.
Dunedin don't make it.
It'd be hard. Dunedin or Varsity, if they drop a couple, they might be in trouble.
Yeah. Well, they've got to come from 32 points. So they've pretty much got to win. They've pretty much got to win 5. Harbour got to win 5 out of 6. Yeah. 55 points is always cut off in this grade. Boys, we better move on to the Form 15 this week. Haven't made a huge amount of changes. Couple on the backs. We were disappointed with these Southern backs, by the way, Supercoach on the weekend. I felt they were a bit stilted. This guy is your best player. Tay Walden, far and away your best player. We're dropping him off from Taieri.
He had his 21st on Saturday with Michael Collins.
The two of them had the 21st together?
Yeah, starters, yep. They
had a great night. I'm dropping Josh Walden at halfback. Felt he was just a wee bit slow on the weekend. And I'm going to put Kurt Hammer, and he's played pretty well the last couple of weeks.
Good play.
Playing well.
That's a bit harsh about Moff because he's been shooting a lot of ducks.
Yeah, but look, he's just not there. Like I think this kid, he's the best centre in town. By a long way. I really do.
Yeah. Probably a guy at Harbour might disagree with you on that one, but...
Who's that? Oh, he's 40 years of age. He's not that. And in the forwards, a lot of change in the forward pack. I'm putting Nick McLennan in. I don't know who Harley Area is, so I'm throwing him out. I'm putting big Nick McLennan in. He must have played pretty well for you boys on the weekend. What I'm reading.
His conduct on the paddock's a lot better than his conduct in public. There's no two worries about that.
Yeah, well, he's ugly, isn't he? He's ugly. Yeah. He's an ugly man.
He gave me a road sign the other day as I drove past him, which I won't describe, but it was pretty ordinary.
And the number's gone as well. I'm putting big Mike Matt Arthur because he played his 50th game for you guys.
Who's your goal kicker if you get rid of him?
Vigo.
Yeah.
Well, any one of those guys can kick goals.
Michael Collins or Tay Warden can kick a goal.
I'm putting you Blake in because he should have played. If he'd played 80, Southern would have lost on the weekend. So Lynchies is out.
Ooh.
Dropping Simon Grant. Because Jamie Waller played his 100th game for Green Island, he deserves a shot. Boys, we'll move on to let's move on to the Roy Neiper Trophy. So you got a couple of things to tell me about the Roy Neiper.
Yeah,
Who is Roy Neiper?
Well, he played for Southern. He played for Otago, obviously, but the trophy itself was presented by one of our guys, the guy Peter Boyd.
Right.
And they were great mates apparently back in the time. And
so when was this? When was Roy?
1959. The trophy was presented by Peter.
So he was played for a long time. You guys have played.
Yeah. Always been continuous. Played for P2 level as well.
And they played it. Well, I was talking to John Hunter today. He's one of our life members, and John tells me they used to play up near Lee Stream in a paddock.
Right.
You know, farm paddock. And John can remember playing there 50 years ago. And these two were great cobbers. Peter Boyd was quite a big man. and Roy Neiper was quite a small guy, but they got on famously, and they used to have a selection team against each other playing.
Yeah.
And John tells me one year, the year he played up there, one of the young fellas broke his collarbone, guy Red Connor, and they had a whip round on the wall shed afterwards. And this young fella was an apprentice builder, and he was on about three pound a week. Had a whip round, £30 on the kitty, because no ACC in those days.
Right.
You know, it was a bit of history to it.
So what about, so you got something, anything you got to add on the trophy?
Yeah, like, obviously it's a big trophy for Southern. You know, Roy Neiper is one of our more respected life members. Coached Southern, coached Otago, was an open side flanker. You know, a very small man. And as John alluded to, Peter Boyd, a great mate of his, who was a Taieri member at the time, donated the trophy on his death in 1959.
Right.
And it's been continuous, even when Taieri didn't have
went down the grades.
Status,
You
we
played
played for the
P2.
P2.
Right, boys, we're going to move on. We'll just quickly go on. I know who you're going to pick in that game, and I'll work out who I'm going to pick later. But let's just quickly go through the other games this weekend. So we've got home team first. We've got Zingaree up against Varsity. Varsity. Same with Varsity. I think there might be an upset there. Taieri Southern we've talked about. Dunedin Kaikoura.
Dunedin.
Same, yeah.
Green Island Alhambra Union.
Alhambra Union. And
Harbour Pirates.
Harbour.
Yeah.
Harbour. Righto, so we both picked that game. I just want to ask you one more thing, because I'm just very concerned now about after-match speeches. Now, I've had to live through one of Gonzo's speeches at Taieri the other week. Went on for about an hour and a half.
To be fair, there's a bit of protocol.
But they get referees get to speak. Everybody gets their 10 seconds with it.
That's something we've got to talk about, because some of this referee chat is pretty bloody ordinary. I mean, Sheldon set the benchmark, and I can't repeat the joke he told last time.
No, he's not a joke at Southern as well.
But some of the other referees, I mean, they're about as exciting as a piece of gravel, some of their chats.
They are awful.
I think you need another display up here with the arrangement.
But I hear the fattest referee in town was absolutely outstanding at Alhambra Union last week.
Yeah.
Mainly because he was bagging me. I hear he was bagging me big time, and I am.
I don't think the Harbour boys were too happy with his refereeing.
Well, Alhambra reckon they should have had 4 or 5 sent off. So I'm just saying. And then we had to go and enjoy more speeches at Southern on the weekend, and that was another 20-minute epic. I mean, it was a big trophy, but it just takes a long time. So do you agree with me that you get your other teams have always got to come in? I understand that everybody goes and has a beer, but do they need to be there forever?
I think the tradition is that, you know, the Premier teams, I think it's important that the two
Premier
teams...
I totally agree. You get no argument from me. I think they should come in at... the games finish about, say, 4:30 by the time they get into the shower. They're in there by 5. I reckon we should have them try and be away by 5:30 though.
Yeah, they drift in, and you know, 5:30. We find 5:30 people are
still coming in.
All there, you know. And look, to be fair, I mean, you guys will be no different to us. We owe a duty of care to our sponsors.
Yeah.
So we've got to give them a fair bloody shout during the speeches.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a bit of protocol around the whole thing.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Righto, there it is. You've heard it here. Look, there's just a couple. The big game this weekend is Southern versus Taieri. Now, look, I just think Taieri at home just a wee bit too strong for Southern. They'll have too much pace for them out wide. I just feel the Southern backs are a wee bit disappointing for my liking at this stage. So Taieri to win that game. And the other big game this weekend, there isn't really a big game this weekend, is the All Black game, and we'll beat England by 60 or 70, and we'll be back with you again next week.